Hello. Today I wanted to do something as a kind of helpful item for this Relay automation app. The app itself is great. I've shown some examples before of how it can dramatically increase your efficiency of different things and make things easier for you by automating multiple tasks that you do in a single workflow. There's a lot of things you can do with it, but this video is not about that. It's about the fact that when you do these workflows, you need to indicate which apps you want to use, how you integrate them, everything else, which is great. But the problem is that if you click on this manage apps to see what apps are available, unfortunately, all they do is just give you the names. They give you the logos and they give you the names. But even though I can connect to all of these, if I wanted to, they don't tell you what these apps do. Obviously, I could spend some time in going through every one of them and try to figure out what they do, but you can see it's a fairly extensive list. So what I did was I thought, okay, I'll go to ChatGPT and basically put in this prompt. Can you please take a look at this URL and create a web page that will have a alphabetical list of all the apps shown, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so basically what I want is I want a list with a brief description of what the app does and a link to their website. That's all I wanted in a kind of table type fashion or just a web page. Based on information, on available information, it says here's an alphabetical list. It starts showing the list, which is fine. These things here are links. You can see you can go directly to, which is what I was looking for. But it stopped here without going through the entire list, because this is definitely not the entire list. I said, can you show all apps? So then it starts doing its thing, and then it gets to the point. I think it's because it's running out of memory in terms of its context space. So it stops at this fill out, fully finishing it. So I still don't have my list. I said, where's the rest? It says, my apology, let me do it again, does it again. Then essentially it stops at the same point. The bottom line is I think it's running out of room. And of course it doesn't give me I wanted the actual web page created, and it says in the link, I asked in the link to the entire page, it says for comprehensive list, you can look at their page, which is what we were looking at. Basically back to square one. And I said I wanted you to create a page. Anyway, bottom line is thinking with it back and forth didn't produce the results I wanted. That was the kind of end of the road. Then I decided to take a different approach. What I did was I took the screenshots of that particular page with all the apps on it, and I dropped the screenshots into ChatGPT. Let me just show you what that looks like. And up here, so I dropped the screenshots and I said, look at the apps and show me numbered list. It says I can't directly extract text, blah, blah, blah. I don't know why it says that because it can. And it says, alternatively, if you describe the apps, the images, instead of names, they can search. Basically, I told it to go ahead and do it, and it did. It says the OCR results appear to have captured the text with some errors. I'll refine. So it does its usual deal where it comes up with errors and it fixes it. Bottom line, after it got done with this thing, it says here's a refined structured list of apps. So this is pretty cool. But the problem is it's only because I could only extract one screenshot at a time instead of the entire list of all the apps. It wound up being like in 9 or I think 10 screens actually to get the whole list. And so then I went ahead and added 5 more. It says now the same with these. And it goes ahead and does this thing here, number list. So all of that is good. The links work fine. Everything seems to be okay, but I need the entire list. So basically, I went through the process of attaching all the screens 5 at a time, and then one left right here. And it did this, and so finally we're done. So then what I said was just thinking, it says, I'm sorry, no, it says, I said, take all of those names you got so far, because it knows what the session was, sort them in alphabetical order, and show a complete list of all of them with descriptions, URLs as before, and create a web page showing that list with clickable links. It says they can compile the list and you can download it here. So this is an example where you might be running out of room in terms of context for the LLM, but if you have the list in the shorter, just the list itself, as opposed to having all this additional context, then you can actually have it create a downloadable HTML file. It will have the entire list. If we basically click on download the HTML, if we click on download the HTML, then let's see what we have here. Then it comes up, and if we pull it up in the browser, it looks something like this. There is the list starting with affinity, and you can see it doesn't stop at Fs, it goes all the way down, G, H, I, and so on and so forth. Basically, it looks like it's got everything in there, entire list. And if you go to any of the little visit links to pull them up, look, there's post hog, and let's pull up like my paddle, and there's paddle. So you can see it definitely seems like it's doing the right thing in terms of that. We go to milkshake. Okay, so basically, I have the entire list of all the apps. Now I also know what they do. Like Apollo is a sales and engagement platform for lead generation pipeline management. So if that's not sufficient, I can always click on the link and go to it and see the details. But at least it's much, much more manageable as a way to be able to figure out what to do when trying to write these relay related workflows. Much, much better than looking at this, which is nothing more than just a list and the ability to connect to them. You still need to connect to them to be able to actually use them, so that's fine. But it would be nice if they actually did exactly what I did, where you have the URL to the service itself and a little description. So Relay, if you're listening, that would be a very nice addition to your page there. And of course, this is only valid for as long as they don't add any additional apps. So if they add any more apps, then you'd have to redo the process or manually insert the code for that particular entry and so on. It'd be obviously much better if they did it, so you don't have to be monitoring it and changing it all the time. But in the meantime, if you did want to use it and you have the same kind of inquiries as I had in terms of what do all these things do, then this is one way to do it. You simply create screenshots of whatever you're looking for, combine it eventually in ChatGPT, ask it to come up with a web page, and you get a web page. I hope this was helpful. It certainly was helpful to me. And also feel free to use this. I'll leave the link to this particular page as of today. In fact, I think I'm going to change it so it shows the date so you can see when the last time it was updated. And I'll just leave it there somewhere on my website so you can easily get to it if you need to use Relay app, and it'll make it a little bit easier for you. With that, I'm Oleg. Take care.